Solve the system. So we have 5xy plus 13y squared plus 36 equals 0. And the other equation is x times y plus 7y squared equals 6. So what we're going to do here is we're going to solve this system of equations. So in essence, for most of these, what we have to do is we have to use substitution in some way, shape, or form. So there's a few ways to look at this problem. So the first thing I notice is they both have an xy. So that's my n there. I could just use an xy here and just sub that in instead of trying to solve it for an x or solve it for a y individually. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this bottom equation and solve it for xy. So xy equals 6 minus 7y squared. Now I'm going to take this xy here, and where I see xy in the top, I'm going to plug in 6 minus 7y squared. So that's the idea here. So I have a 5, and then I have an xy. So then in place of it, I'm going to put my 6 minus 7y squared, and that's plus 13y squared plus 36 equals 0. So in essence, when I'm doing the substitution method, if you forgot, we have to solve one of the equations for some variable or expression now, and then plug it in the other one, where that expression or variable is. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to simplify this. Now notice we got it all in terms of y's now. So we have a y there, and a y squared there, and a y squared there. So that's it. I got an equation in terms of one variable. And that's all I'm trying to do with any of these. So anyways, this is going to be 30 minus 35y squared plus 13y squared plus 36 equals 0. Now I'm going to put my y squareds together. So this is what I end up with when I put it all together. So those are both positive, so I added those. That's negative, that's positive, so I subtracted them. So anyway, so now I'm down to here. I add or subtract 66 from both sides. Divide by 22. Negative, of course. So then y squared is going to equal positive 3. So then what we do is we square root both sides. And then y is going to be plus or minus square root of 3. Now again, we're not going to graph this. This would be a horrible thing to graph. Well, it just takes some time. We need a lot of points to really understand these graphs. So anyway, so just algebraically is the way to do these. Again, I just showed you the pictures of the first few just to get an idea of what you're finding. So we're finding where these two graphs intersect. So now we have our y values. Now we have to find our x values. So I'm going to plug it in the bottom one, which would be this one down here, because I think it'll be easier to work with. It's less terms. So may or may not be, but we'll find out. So I have my x here, and I'm just going to do the positive square root of 3 first. So that's just going to be a square root of 3 there, plus 7, and then square root of 3 there, squared, equals 6. So now this is going to be square root of 3x, and this squared is going to give me 3. So that's 3 times 7. It's going to be 21 equals 6. So now I'm going to subtract the 21. So that's going to be square root of 3x equals negative 15. And then lastly, I divide by the square root of 3 here. So then x equals, probably have to rationalize the denominator, so that means I'm going to multiply the square root of 3 times the top and the bottom. And that's going to end up giving me a 3 on the bottom together, which is going to cancel with that, and that's going to make that a 5. So this is going to end up being five square root of 3. That would be a negative. So my ordered pair then for those two would be negative 5 square root of 3, comma, square root of 3. So now for the other point, we're going to put the negative square root of 3 in. So negative square root of 3 x plus 7 negative square root of 3 squared equals 6. So now a lot of this is going to work out the same. So negative square root of 3 x, and this is going to be minus 21 equals 6. So then when I add 21, square root of 3x equals 27. And then I'm going to divide by the square root of 3. So I'm going to get x equals, and this is going to have to be rationalized on the right. So square root of 3 and square root of 3. That's going to give me 3 down there, so it's going to cancel with that and make it a 9. So that's just going to end up being positive 9 square root of 3. So the ordered pair for this one is going to be 9 square root of 3, comma, negative square root of 3. And that's the other point. So here are the 2 points for this system of equations.